New on Curiosity Stream. She was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Bro, gnarly.
What's up, Taylor?
Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way.
Way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro.
Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case.
Dude, no way.
You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink test. Can Steve a Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. By the way, quick shout out to the Sammy Hagar cover band, Mas Tequila. All right. So, New Originals played, last Saturday, whatever it was, and Mas Tequila was the band after us. During sound check, they're kind of warming up with this. Singer doesn't have much to do, but he rolls up and does it. Now it's drinking time. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Nice touch, dude.
Thank you, brother.
Definitely appreciate it. Today we toast actor Bruce Willis. Woo! Yes, indeed. He first seeped into American consciousness in 1985 when he appeared on the ABC comedy drama Moonlighting, that is correct. But his big break came 3 years later in 1988 when he played John McClane in Ted's favorite classic Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Great movie.
Anyway, he's had a very successful acting career. Believe it or not, he's worth about $250 million. One of the richest actors on this planet. But that does not mean that he can escape the Golden Raspberry Awards, known affectionately as the Razzies. Now, in their own words, the Razzies honored the worst cinematic underachievement. Well, our friend Bruce Willis, he wasn't just nominated for an award. Lots of actors, actresses get nominated for this. No, he did such a bad job in 2021 that in addition to Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Actress, etc., the Razzies actually created a special category just for Bruce Willis called Worst Performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie, because he put out 8 movies.
8 movies?
And apparently he sucked it all. Now, he's expected to sweep the category, being that it is Worst Performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie.
Did he get 8 nominations in that category?
It's the movies themselves, and he specifically, as the actor in them, they're that bad. Now, maybe you've seen none of these movies just like I have. American Siege. These are all 2021. 8 movies. American Siege.
Nope.
Apex.
Nope.
Cosmic Sin.
No.
Deadlock.
No.
Fortress.
Nope.
Midnight in the Switchgrass.
No.
Out of Death.
Nope.
And Survive the Game.
No.
Right. Anyway.
Well, I saved a lot of time in my life there.
Apparently you did. So, yeah, the Razzies actually this year created an entirely new category, and it actually has the most nominations because they, like the Academy Awards, stopped at 5. Or I guess they go to 10 now, but they stopped at 5. But, yes, the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021
That's
movie
impressive.
with 8 options. I'm curious to see which one he technically wins, which was his worst performance. But I want to congratulate him on that because no one's ever done that before.
Either way, he's a winner.
Yes, indeed.
That's crazy.
It is. I think it's hilarious. By the way, someone here, Ted, says Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Thrill Hill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, Hefe, you understand how this here game is played?
Yeah, let's go with Bite Me.
Bite me it is. We go to the land down under, where a woman in Australia was shocked to find an unexpected guest in her broccoli while cooking dinner. Chloe Mitchell was preparing the meal when the unexpected critter crawled out from the broccoli purchased at the Aldi grocery store. She says, quote, I put it in the steamer on the stove. I then turned around to get the last few pieces and saw something crawling along the chopping board. Well, Chloe and her husband attempted to capture the creature, but ultimately her father-in-law was able to trap it. Now, according to an Aldi spokesman, it's unusual to find critters in their bagged vegetables and believes it must have hitched a ride either from the producer's farm in Australia. And other news, Aldi feels the need to explain that finding living creatures in their food is unusual.
I don't think it's unusual at all.
I think it's unusual. I don't feel that they should have to explain that. Like, oh, no, we here at Aldi do not intentionally put living animals in your food. We know it's called a mistake. At any rate, what did Chloe find in her food? Was it a spider, a scorpion, a snake, or a toad? So spider, scorpion, snake, or toad, one of these things was in her broccoli, which is another reason to not eat broccoli.
I think a snake might be too big, so I'm going to throw that one out. What part of Australia, southern or northern?
That I do not know, my friend.
Just Australia.
Okay,
Just have Australia.
I'm thinking spider or toad. It's broccoli, always kind of wet.
You moist.
Be weird. You put it in the steamer and it crawled out. Leaning towards toad. What do you guys think, Miles, Ted?
Jeff, I don't think it's toad because it wouldn't be so alarming and we wouldn't know about this. A toad is not something that's threatening to people. It's just not an animal where people, they would just be like, oh, look, there's a little frog in there. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be like, look how cute it is. So I don't think it's a toad. Conversely, I don't think it's a snake because no matter how far that traveled, typically broccoli is a refrigerated item. And I just, maybe the snake would have froze
across the chopping board, right?
I'm going scorpion, Jeff.
I think it crawled across the chopping board. I might think I'm leaning scorpion too because the spider would probably get cooked if she put it in a steamer because she was steaming it. I think I'm gonna go with the scorpion. What about you, Ted? Give us yours.
I'm disagreeing with you and Miles. I think it is a tiny snake.
Tiny snake.
Okay. Tiny snake.
It's Australia. It could have been a goddamn koala bear.
For you, Ted. Ted's tiny snake.
So you're going to stick with scorpion? Final answer, Jeff?
Scorpion, yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to find out what was in the broccoli. A spider, a scorpion, a snake, or a toad next.
That was a tease.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
What if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories bite me on profile. This short and sweet woman found something in her broccoli while making dinner. It basically crawled out there. It was under a cutting board. I believe they said the shipment was from Australia.
They said it's a farm in Australia,
Gotcha.
but Aldi just wanted to let you know that they don't then add living creatures to the shipment of vegetation.
Question is, what was in that broccoli? Spider, scorpion, snake, or toad?
And that is the very question that we posed to you, Jeff. But let us start with D. Ted Smith.
Dang.
You went with the snake? Would you say tiny snake?
Tiny snake.
It was neither tiny nor large. It just was not a snake.
What did these MF and snakes do to this broccoli?
Now, kilometers and Hefe, you see what I did there? Very international.
Mm-hmm.
Kilometers and Hefe, they both agreed on scorpion based on when it crawled. It did not hop, it did not slither. That narrowed it down to spider or scorpion, but because she was steaming it, the scorpion with a tougher exoskeleton, blah, blah, you went through all your scientific garbage.
Yes.
And you were correct.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Nice job, Jeff.
People are so happy when they get that right.
Hey, scorpion in my food.
I know.
Hey. All right. Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices. Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers.
The Jimmies.
Kimmel Fallon.
Weekend Update.
Okay. SNL.
Bill Maher. David Letterman.
David Letterman.
I'm just trying you. Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It is late on the title. It says that teams of talents and writers who help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
For a second, Ted, I thought you were serious because Letterman showed up.
He's been on a couple different things.
He's been doing some rounds.
The 40th anniversary?
It's the 40th anniversary, whatever it is, on Seth Meyers' show, but he made one joke. He was very humble, and he had talked about just his mother being on the show.
All right.
And one of the things he said, she has since passed on. The car he said, it's okay. She died doing what she loved, sleeping. And trust me, he said, I checked with the family before I made the joke.
There's some new research saying that putting women's pantyhose over top of your mask will give you better protection from COVID. Very well, then I will put pantyhose around my face, said the creepy guy at work.
Ted Smith. Yeah, I'll say that's you.
Yeah, that's somebody was pumped when they saw that.
Finally, I can explain it away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm being cautious, not creepy.
Ma, I need more pantyhose.
Pull off the ones you're wearing.
This is the first Winter Olympics that relies almost entirely on fake snow. They're going to create over 1 million cubic meters of fake snow, or roughly one Hallmark Christmas movie.
Fallon. Bill Maher.
Fallon.
I heard it's going to be the first Winter Olympics that relies almost entirely on fake snow. Yeah, they're going to create over 1 million cubic meters of fake snow, or roughly one Hallmark Christmas movie.
They start filming those things like right now. For next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like 15 of them in the can.
I only because you see this all the time, I feel pretty positive they film those things in like the summer.
I think a lot of them are in the summer.
Just because almost every time you read anything about behind the scenes, it's always how hot the actors are temperature-wise.
Right, it's 96 degrees outside with fake snow, but we got to act like we're cold.
A jacket on.
So right, you got to wear a sweater and a jacket and this and that. But I feel like if you filmed in February, you'd be all right. It's been cold across most of the country.
Yeah, for sure.
The Olympics have started, and China does not want COVID to be a problem. They've brought back the anal swab test. Talk about your super spreader event.
Bill Maher.
That's Bill Maher.
The Olympics have started. China does not want COVID to be a problem. They have brought back, I am not kidding about this, the anal swab testing. Talk about a super spreader event.
Costco is once again selling 5-pound tub of Pillsbury cookie dough. Imagine picking up a 4-pound tin of cookie dough and going, nah, I wanted the bigger one.
Fallon. I'll say Bill Maher again.
That's Fallon.
Some business news. I saw that Costco is once again selling a 5-pound tub of Pillsbury cookie dough. Imagine picking up a 4-pound tub of cookie dough and going, nah, I wanted the bigger one.
Unless Unless you're hosting like a massive party. Like if you buy that cookie dough, like just admit it, you're just eating it.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not fooling anybody.
Right, that would yield so many cookies. I just have a hard time seeing anybody sitting around eating that many cookies.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, but I can see somebody just hunkering down on a tub of it.
In one city.
All right, let's see. According to a survey on YouTube TV, 2 out of 3 people think their own life could be a sitcom.
Maybe not the way they imagine it. You know, I've met people like, oh, I could write a sitcom about your life, but I don't think you would like it.
Well, a lot of people think their life is super interesting, and it's not.
They post about it all the time.
Right.
It's fine, but it's kind of on par with everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of times we like movies that are far-fetched, or if it's a real-life story, it's usually a pretty crazy story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's the story of Tina. Nothing particular. She graduated high school, went to college, got a job.
So they also asked people for their favorite shows of all time. And they have here a top 10 list. Now, I think we've seen most of these. I know, Miles Throw, you're not going to like number 1 and number 2.
But I don't like anything. That's fair.
Let's start at number 10. What I consider to be the greatest show ever made.
Drama or comedy?
Drama.
Oh, The Wire.
Yeah. The Wire. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. I would also, now that I've watched Breaking Bad, I would put Breaking Bad kind of right behind it.
Okay.
Breaking Bad's that good. You guys haven't seen it yet.
That's a good voucher.
It is. I highly recommend it. Next on the list, they put The Simpsons.
All right. I mean, it's been on long enough that you go.
I just don't think of it as realistic because it's a cartoon. Not that has anything to do with it.
Well, no, it's just shows they like.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought you.
I mean, granted, The Wire and The Simpsons very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just shows.
Yeah, these are
people. Like.
I was just saying, people think their lives could be one.
Okay.
Now they're just voting on their favorite. This is just a survey of their favorite
Gotcha.
shows.
My bad.
But you are correct. Like Thrill just said,
it is a cartoon.
It is unrealistic.
I have not seen The Simpsons in a long time. It was Christmas 2019. I'll remember because this is the last time I could travel. But it was on one of the channels, just on repeat. And I realized my kids had never seen it. They thought it was the funniest thing they had seen in their life.
I feel like I just don't
good
see
for them, man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't hear as much Simpsons talk.
But things have taken over, man. South Park took over. Family Guy took over. All these other shows that are animated anyway. Rick and Morty, right? They become the pioneers of what The Simpsons started, I guess.
And I love Family Guy, but I don't know that I've sat down and watched the Family Guy in a while. So, let's see. I don't know how this made the list. Battlestar Galactica.
All right, so they're obviously talking about the remake. I never watched the remake, but the people that watched it really liked it.
All right.
There was never a good sales pitch to me to check it out. Man, I really like the show. And I'm like, dude, I love sci-fi, but no matter how they explained it, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And the few times I would tune in, I can make it. And again, I like sci-fi. I can go like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm out.
I watched it.
The new one?
No, the old one.
Oh, the old one, yeah. But I was like 8, man. Yeah.
It was still cool to me.
That show was cool to me.
Because Star Trek did not relate to me at that young age.
Sure.
So I didn't get all the social, cultural.
Would you rank it as one of your top 10 shows of all time?
Absolutely
no. God, no. God, no. It had Dirk Benedict.
Still sounds fake.
Yeah.
Number 7 on the list. Again, this is a survey of people's favorite, from YouTube, favorite shows. MASH.
Wow. Okay.
Too heavy for me when I was that age.
It's, I've learned to appreciate it. My wife really likes it, right? So I would sit down and watch it. And again, as a kid, it was just heavy. I understand the humor aspect of it now, and some of what they do is funny, but also I'm old enough to recognize why the humor's there. It is just a heavy show to me. Like the theme song says it all. It's like, ooh, okay.
The Office.
Great show.
Which I agree.
Still laughing.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll catch myself watching a random episode. And there's a decent amount of The Office I didn't watch. I think I kind of...
Toward the end, I think. But things changed a lot at the end,
I think by the time Pam and Jim actually got married, I was like, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Plus, it depends on what you're doing at the time. Like, I'm trying, you know what I mean? Like, if you're watching shows, like, you're in it, but then if you get out of it, it's hard to get back into that rhythm.
Yeah, I got you.
That makes sense. Let's see. Frasier. Sure, Miles still has some in his DVR. A very popular show.
I hate that show.
People loved it. Do you hate Frasier, or do you hate that it was always on in your house?
The whole storm of it. Every single aspect of the show, I'm just not into.
See, I always thought Frasier was actually pretty funny.
I loved Frasier.
The dad was great. The little dog, Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I moved here, I got more bitter. It's like, we don't live in a penthouse on top of a huge building like that and have like family members living with us and a skyline of Los Angeles behind us.
Right.
This is not right.
Next on the list, Three's Company. Which...
That'd be great.
I don't know if I watched it now that I would be entertained at the level I was then.
Yes, you would.
Nostalgically, absolutely. But again, it's like Dukes of Hazzard. Like, great show. You sit down and watch it. Like, this is a POS.
You
right?
forget the fact that, even through two different landlords. Mm-hmm. So the Ropers.
Right.
Which had their own spinoff. Those two were a great couple as far as bringing the comedy.
But would I still laugh now?
Yes. Then Don Knotts had the physical comedy that he brought in.
When's the last time you watched one?
There was one on TV Land probably a couple years ago that I watched, and it was more about Larry.
All right.
Larry was
upstairs neighbor, but did you laugh?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's there's so much
sexual innuendo and physical comedy.
Like at one point in time, Suzanne Summers was her and Jack were trying to do something in the bathroom and fix something underneath the sink or something.
Is this Mr. Furley's listening?
And Mr. Furry's got his ear up to the door, he doesn't. The whole scheme is that they're allowed to live there, but they can't really enjoy each other's company, so to speak. Right. So the landlord's thing was you can have two female, roommates, but you can't if there's any kind of hanky panky going on. Right. You know what I mean? Like. And he's listening to all this stuff, and he busts in, and it's just like they're under there with like a socket wrench trying to fix it.
But she's saying like it's really wet, and he's like, just pull the hairs off.
This is such a big pipe. You know what I mean? Like it was stupid, but it still translates.
Next on the list was Game of Thrones. I still haven't watched that one. I might have to check that out.
Look, the show was massive, and again, I did not watch it until right after it finished because I kept hearing about it. Again, I did not know what I'd think of at the first episode. I'm like, man, I just don't know. And again, I will say this. At the end of the first episode, a brother is having sex with his sister and realizes they're being spied on by like a 10-year-old kid. So the brother walks to the window and pushes the kid out of the window, hoping to kill him. And that's how it ended. And I'm like, I'm watching this show. Mm-hmm. That's all you need to know. There are no holds barred, man. It is all on the table with that show.
Next on the list, again, one of my favorite shows. People seem to really hate it now. Is Seinfeld.
Why do they hate it now?
Well, because Seinfeld came back. Like now, it's on Netflix, I believe. So Seinfeld is showing up a lot more places right now than it had. Okay. Right? It was always, you could always watch it like 10 or 11 o'clock at night in reruns.
No doubt.
So younger audiences are watching like, I don't get it. They seem like miserable people and this and that. I'm like,
yeah, it's the entire premise. That's it.
Yeah, well, like, also it's Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld.
Right.
Like, Seinfeld's a comedian, but their style of humor is that, like, yeah, this sucks, that sucks, like, things are miserable, and, what's the deal with?
Yeah.
And then number one, again, I watched it. I have never gone back and watched it because I don't know why I was so committed to it. Friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
But again, the younger generation loves it. Like, my niece and nephew loved it. The other friends that have teenagers, like, they all love it. And I'm like, Friends. Like, okay.
I think it's very easy to digest, right?
You'll find a character that you can relate to.
Right,
something.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I just stood by it and always defended it. Then I tried rewatching and I was like, this kind of sucks. Like, Joey's really the only character on there you really care about.
His spinoffs were better than his performance on that show. So the shows that he did after that, in my opinion, were better than Friends.
But you didn't watch Friends.
No, I watched Joey, all the stuff that he did after that.
Right.
Yeah, I did not like him on Friends. I liked everything he did after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, where he was like playing himself.
It's tough to say, though, that's better than that. But, like, you didn't watch the other one.
Well, I watched a little bit of it, enough to know that it sucked.
Let's see. You can still check out the Olympics. By the way, I wanted to remind people, too, if you watch it on NBC, obviously it's tape delayed and this and that. Go over to USA here on the West Coast. You can watch a lot of events live that are happening there, like right now.
Hey, imagine that. No spoiler alert.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimated.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the Oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on CuriosityStream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed.
You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.
Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. An Oregon man acts like a DEA agent so he can ride with a woman in his car every night. Meanwhile, a woman gets a tattoo of the Virgin Mary, which kind of looks like a place that is warm and tight. Florida man tells cops the meth in his car is just delicious breath mints. Banning bike helmets for safety reasons makes little, if no sense. And a Vegas company is now selling the Mile High Club package. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
All right, top story. We go to Florida where an officer followed his instinct. While out on patrol, he recognized a man behind the wheel from another incident and knew that his license had been revoked. After stopping him, the officer conducted a search where he found drug paraphernalia and what looked like methamphetamine inside of a baggie. When asked to explain himself, the suspect assured the officer that it wasn't meth in his bag, but breath mints.
I would try the same thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, hell yeah. Test proof otherwise, and the man was arrested. If you're already caught, I mean, you're going to jail.
I know, but I'm still going to lie about it because that's another charge.
Right.
You know, be like, oh, yeah, dude, the breath mint. I meant meth mints. He misunderstood me.
See, you think too quick, man. I'm not near that fast. We go to the lovely world of the internet where one woman is showcasing an interesting tattoo. Good God. The basic design is a classic Virgin Mary with the words, "You thought God was an architect, now you know," written along the border. But it doesn't take long to notice that Mary's usual blue garment is a little more pink than usual, as well as it flows in a very suggestive fashion.
It's not suggestive. It looks like a vagina. I mean, it looks exactly like a vagina.
Ted, did you see this thing?
I did not.
Oh, my God.
Come on over here. Take a
look at
bad boy.
Tell me there's any other way.
There's no other way to take that.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is an aggressive tattoo. And it's right on her shoulder, too.
Oh, yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, you're not going to notice the Virgin Mary up there.
I wouldn't even know that. I'd be like, why is the Virgin Mary on top of a vagina?
Right.
A giant one.
You have any tattoos? I do. I actually have the Virgin Mary. No, you got a vagina. Las Vegas is saving a little face with a recent investigation. We covered this a little bit earlier today. Reports came in that one of the slot machines inside of Treasure Island malfunctioned and did not alert a winner to the fact that he was awarded upwards of $230,000. By the time staff figured it out for themselves, the patron was long gone, and looking through security footage, receipts, and even rideshare logs, they were able to track down the man 3 weeks later and present him with his winnings.
How long do you think the casino would have? Because they went for a long time to find this guy, right? Yeah, I'm just like, what is their cutoff for that?
I don't even know how they figured out that it had malfunctioned. Because it's not like the guy left any kind of a complaint.
Right,
the story would have said that he left a complaint. So maybe they're doing the tills at the end of the night, and then they find out that this one machine malfunctioned and didn't pay out, and so they got all this extra dough that went left unclaimed, and for some reason they just were inspired to dive into it and figure out.
I give them credit. Next time I go to Vegas, I'm going to gamble at Treasure Island.
Hell yeah, dude!
Right? Just at least I know they'll do what they got to do to find my ass.
I mean, I'm all for fair play, but that casino's pretty well within their rights to go ahead, just forget about losing $250,000 to one person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We go to Oregon, where Portland has one less DEA prospect. This one's just kind of sad. Officers on patrol noticed a man and woman standing beside a car with lights on while wearing DEA gear. When the officer asked them to provide proof that they were agents, the woman quickly obliged, only to be told her credentials were false. Story goes that the man that she was working with had duped her into believing that he was a recruiter, had outfitted her with gear, and even taken her on ride-alongs on the nightly to train her up. The man was arrested and the woman was not charged.
She didn't know.
Right? Honestly, her best defense was the fact that she went right up to the cops and was like, hell yeah, I got my ID right here.
I mean, look, I get you get duped, but like, I don't know. Wouldn't you figure you got to go to an academy?
Right.
It's the DEA.
And
I think it's tough for like if you're just a run-of-the-mill beat cop. I mean, you got to go through something to get into the DEA.
And why do you only see this one dude? It's not like he had a staff. You're getting into this guy's car every night, rolling around. You haven't talked to a commissioner. You haven't talked to any other agents that are out there. You haven't found the DEA building.
I mean, was he just using her to help, like, just steal drugs from people?
Maybe. Who knows?
Well,
man?
it said that he was going around to homeless people and, like, trying to hook up informants is basically what it was. So,
all right.
And then he told cops that they were just doing cosplay.
Right, of course.
Which he very well could have been. He might have just wanted to been a moonlight DEA agent. Yeah, and just kind of have fun pretending, which is a felony, so I'd recommend not doing it. But this guy just took it too far.
That's crazy. I know, I just saw the headlines, like, he got her a badge and a gun, and I was like, damn.
Right. He had an AR-15 BB gun in his trunk. Like, this guy tried to look as legit as possible. Had the car with the bubble on it, man. We go back to Las Vegas, where your dreams of the skies are achievable. For the low price of $1,000, you and your special somebody can have a completely private flight over the Las Vegas skies with the sole intention of joining the Mile High Club.
Not that important to me. I just want to have sex with you.
I'm with
Let's save $1,000. We can put $200 toward dinner.
It's one of those where I can just, if there's ever that moment when you're sitting in the bar like, all right, drink if you're part of the Mile High Club, I would probably take a drink. But other than that, there's no other reason to have sex on a plane. It is another
there's
closed
a
off
million
room.
reasons to have sex on a plane. I just don't think it's worth spending $1,000 specifically to do that.
The cabin comes complete with all the equipment that you'll need in the time of passion while in the air, such as satin sheets and position pillows.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know what I'm into.
The pilot will even wear noise-canceling headphones during the flight to ensure your privacy.
This is the first time I ever thought like $1,000 doesn't sound like a bad deal. 'Cause you know the cost of a private flight.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for $1,000, I mean $500 a piece.
Do it, man.
Forget those headphones. I want him
Head to
listening.
the friendly skies.
And that is it for your headlines with that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you up next, the Men's Room Happy Hour, exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, well, we'll be all about this bitch for about 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. When we think about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy in the Black community, let's remember, it didn't happen by chance. It's justified in history. But the will to change the narrative is strong today, and our people are lending their voices to the conversation. We're sharing our stories and the reasons that made us choose the vaccine so we can lead the way for others to make a well-informed choice too. To hear our stories, visit hereforuswa.org.